Okay, let's go ahead and get started. This is Elliot Wave Sage. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes. I had some time. I just want to do a quick live stream to get some questions answered because the market is definitely changing its character and nature. I definitely see some tremors for what will be coming in the next 12 months, right? If you've followed me, we've always said that, at some point the grand super cycle is going to end. We just don't know exactly when. These shaded areas, just so you know, man. Holy crap, 100. Thank you, man. I'll get to your super chat. But these shaded areas, we know is technically the Fibonacci sell point. For the system I use. But sometimes we don't make it there. Sometimes we could be off by a swing. Now, to be off by 1, 2 swings, that would be hard to do, but it can happen. I can make mistakes. So we can't be like, oh my God, it's going to be like Moon Boy, SPY 25,000. Now, some people believe that. Some people believe that. Elliot Wave Sage has never believed that. Okay, we've always called the peak here. And we always said that the Russell has a peak coming. Now look, the Russell actually got pretty close technically. Now again, I don't have the swings in. The Dow Jones, I just don't have the swings in to call the end of the grand super cycle, the super crash of all ages. But the triple Qs, oh shit, one more swing. That's it. So the triple Qs is something that should really worry you. If you are max tech, I would be careful because you clearly have 3, 4, 5, right? Again, big picture, triple Qs, guys. This is an easy chart to label. Any Elliott Wave novice can label this chart in like 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Not difficult, right? Look, 1, 2. Now, I could put 3, 4, 5, but the reason I want one more swing is we erase divergence, okay? But classic Elliott wave theory actually says we've peaked, but I'm not ready to call that. Now, you can watch my market update video I just posted to get more details and insight on when you will call the peak in technology. And yes, when this 5 is in, shit's going to get real in the market like we've never seen before because we should lose this whole wave. All that shit's going to go away. And we'll have to go into bear mode. And we'll start shorting individual tech stocks that break pivots. AMD could be one of our first ones, but not yet. But for now, this is due to bounce at any moment. It's still due to bounce. I don't see a massive meltdown yet. But I think next week is key. And the VIX is telling you if there's going to be a meltdown, the VIX is going to come out of this wedge. And look how we closed. We closed with a little dip buy here. So that's going to keep people up on the weekend because this could be a pretty Black Monday maybe. Is that what we're setting up for? Because like I showed before on the VIX is when these wedges break out, man, the market essentially crashes. Wedge, breakout, wedge, breakout, wedge, breakout. Big wedge, big breakout, big crash. Okay? This is coming to an apex. Now, this is early. This is early. But maybe the market participants, Aladdin, the people that we all depend on, maybe they said, shit, we got to get out now while the getting's good because we got Trump and Vance and the populism and going after China and they got assassination and now we have an IT failure. What the hell's going on in this world? You know what? Maybe it's time to drop this thing now. And so maybe they're going to do it early like they did in COVID, but I think we have more to go, but you got to keep an eye on this pattern, guys. And the monthly cycle on the VIX has turned up. That has a lot of room to go. And then finally, the weekly cycle is close to its trend line. It's real close. Be careful. So you got to be cautious in the market just based on those things. But again, I just tell you what I see. I just don't see the swings in in the Dow and IWM. Now the IWM, I can force it in a more believable way. Instead of calling this as an ABC, I could call this as a WXY, and then make this complete. It's done, and you're going to get this. So be careful, but we'll let the market stop you out of IWM, and it's close to doing that today, but it didn't do that. It's close. So just keep that in mind if you're trading the IWM, okay? And the Dow Jones, just real quick, just again, watch the flat correction in the Dow Jones here. So we have a 1, 2. Now this could be a 3, and we could have the 4 here, where you get this A, B, and you get this flat, and we drop all the way down to 37,000. That in the market was literally on the edge of a cliff today, trying to decide that. This could be a little tight bear flag, but man, we need the balance. If you don't get it, it's going to go fall back in, false breakout, and you will get a flat. And as you know, the flats are violent, and there'll be so much panic. It's crazy. But it should find support here, by the way. Okay. So I'm just showing you some bear cases. So Winston, let me go to your super chat. Thanks again for the big super chats, guys. I really appreciate that. So silver. So silver, again, the forecast silver, we need to forecast the dollar index. So if my forecast is not right with the dollar index, my forecast with silver won't be right, okay? So, but I mentioned if the dollar index was going to correct this wave, which it's doing, silver is going to be under pressure, and that's what it is. It's under pressure. Until this wave 2 is finished, it's under pressure. Look how long this wave took from June 27th to July 17th. 3 weeks or so. This could take 3 weeks. So the market could be under pressure for like 3 weeks while this 2 plays out. And it should come up, it should come down, it should come up. So, while that is happening, you would think silver is going to be under pressure. So I do think silver will do the higher degree correction. Well, this 4 will have another swing lower down now to 27.80. 27.30 in this area here. So I think silver is going to have a double correction here. It should hold. Now, if I'm wrong about the dollar, you need to know the bear case. The bear case, again, always look at the big picture too. We only have 3 up. Could this be a massive flat? It's always possible. It's always possible. That's possible, okay? But it's not likely. But you will know if we break. I think if we break $26, I think you got to start thinking the flat, and that would be a retest of these lows at 17 or a marginal new low for probably another generational buy opportunity before the big move higher as one final shakeout. But I'm sure that would be a pretty big market meltdown to have that happen with a dollar index spiking. But it's not my preferred view, but I have to show it to you. You can't live in, with your head in the sand. You can't, you gotta know that, know the situation. But I believe this is the probable path now. The most probable path. So if you're trying to trade it, you could try to buy it here and take a stab at it, but you definitely, maybe you would want to stop out here at 26. And then if that happens, I think you're going to get that flat that I showed you, and more than likely we'll probably be in a full market meltdown if that occurs. So thanks for the super chat. So guys, let me go to your questions at the top. Space Silver, good to see you on the channel. Volcar B, I'll go just kind of in no particular order. And again, if you want me to just jump to your question, super chat, I'll just go right to your question. Let's take a look. So got that capitulation here. So it looks like this is a major low, but if you look, it's only 3 waves off that low. So it's stuck in an area that I call it indecisive. The market has not decided. This could be a flat though. So there's two ways to label it. I could label it corrective, and then it's going to go to new lows. And that would happen is if this low breaks here at 30.49. So this low has to hold. Now, if it doesn't, then you could label it as a flat correction. I'm sorry, here, one and out, where this is an A, B, like C. But it doesn't, my guess is it's corrective. And we're going to go to new lows. So I think you could see 1857, 1093. But it's honestly 50-50. The market is literally like it's a stalemate between bulls and bears right here, between both scenarios. So it's kind of like a roulette wheel trade. But I would say that given what I just said about the market conditions, I bet it's going to break down. And we only have 3 up. So I would just be careful in this. Then FNOX. Fort Knox AB. We have this 2-wave. We wanted it finished here as a flat, but then we broke the low. So we've set up for another swing lower. So I do believe we'll still make another swing down. As long as we're above 40.42, it's bullish. You could see 50.42, 45.41. So I would be looking for lows in this area, and then if this low broke, I would stop out of it, and it's something else. It's a much more bearish pattern, and the bull case is not supported anymore. But it looks like it's going to double correct down. Now, if it decides to rip, then this is just a connector that will fail. So it could still be a connector, and then it fails later. Okay. In fact, no, I don't think so. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's already in its downturn, but I think again you can't really rule out either option. So I think you just have to be prepared, because it's kind of stuck in the indecisive area where it could really go either way, where it could rip up in the connector and fail, or just fail and come out. But it's unlikely it will just go to new highs from here. Cool. I got some more super chats here. X Saint X, appreciate it. Cubits. D-Wave Quantum. All right, let's take a look at that. So the way I chart things like this is we'll just chart it bullish from this low in a new bull cycle. We have the divergence, and we have the capitulation. So chances are, yeah, this is and then you have the 3, 4, 5 there. So you're probably close to a low. Too much divergence. Not on the weekly though. Yeah, I think that's your connector wave, and it's yeah, let's just think out loud here. This is a tricky one. We broke down by the low. Yeah, the way I would label this is an ABC with a connector, and it failed. So it's going to go lower, obviously, but it's running out of room, right? It can't break 56 cents. So it's got to hold. It's got to hold this area right here, but it'll have to erase divergence while it does it. It has to erase this divergence. So it's more than likely going to come through 81 cents. So it's going to retest this low. It's coming, I think it's coming to retest 60 cents. And if you're lucky, it will hold that low technically, and you'll get a big push higher. If this low breaks down, then more than likely this low will break down. And then this was just a big connector wave, and you'll have a waterfall sell-off. So it's one of those, it's a tough chart because there's just not a lot of data, but you have to be careful that this isn't, you know, a flat correction, like a three-wave move for A. I'm sorry, put an A here, you know, and then a 3, a 5, so C, B, A. So you put the A here, so it'll be A, B, C. So I would just be careful that this isn't some kind of connector wave that's taking shape. Yeah, A, B, C. I don't know. I think this is what I'm looking at. Iceman, appreciate it. Although it's crazy on the weekly chart, is it possible that in 1981 is a wave 1 cut off by the chart? I charted that peak and it had divergence. Which symbol are you referring to? Which weekly chart? Can you put in the comments? Which weekly chart? Are you referring to, like the Dow Jones or the NASDAQ or like wave 1? I just don't know, kind of understand the question. If you can clarify it more, I'll answer it. So I'll just move to the next one. Rolton cheese. Celsius broke down like I warned people about, which is why I left that trade. Now it's in it could be in a catastrophe technically, unfortunately, but you know, that's just the way it goes. You know, it's correcting the grand super cycle. It's in a flat pattern, and it just finished wave 1, 2, right? So it's now going to enter wave 3, and so it's got a lot more downside left, more than likely. And then look, it broke this top end pattern, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it come all the way back down into these areas here. I mean, it's just really bearish. This is why I did not want to trade it. And then of course, if we rip up, it's still a wave 2. You could probably try to short that. Okay. I'll go back to Iceman Icy, and then I'll go back to Rolton Cheese here. So Nike. Oh, Nike, 1981 is the wave 1 peak cut off by the chart. I'll look at Nike real quick. Nike was green today. Again, we're expecting a bounce. So the way to find the wave 1, we should go to a highest time frame possible. So if I look at it where I look like the first wave ends, so this is the cycle, and it broke around here. So that's 2000, okay, 2000. And then we came up, we made some bearish divergence. So then I can maybe draw this out here. We found support here, and then as you can see, we broke it. So this is why the grand super cycle's over. So it looks like to me, yeah, maybe I could draw something like this. Maybe technically this was better, where it's more like a 1, 2, 1, 2, but then I would just play around with where the 3s and 4s are. So maybe it's not 5 is in here. Maybe, let's see here if I do this right. Yeah, here. You know, something like that. Something like that, right? And then maybe I could put this 4 right there. You see, I could just kind of, you know, mess around, but I think that's where if I was trying to place the wave 1, I'd place it somewhere like the wave 1 peak is somewhere around 1997. My guess. I just don't, it's too small. Like that way, this was probably a 1-2, but it's part of this cycle. And it was corrected by this pullback. Okay? But as you can see, it's in the grand super cycle. That's why I think it could be in a bear market for a little bit of time, where I think this bounce will fail. Okay, Rolton Cheese, let's finish yours. FTNT. Let's see here. FTNT. Some new symbols. Fortnite. All right. Yeah, it's not, monthly wouldn't be the right time frame to use. We'll use the weekly. You took divergence out here. So something like that. Yeah, it looks like you're going to correct the grand super cycle. Looks like you've already broke the cycle. I bet you'll take one more swing lower, and then that should be a great opportunity for long positions. So I'll be looking for like 37.50, 29.11. Somewhere down there. Okay? Net. Looks like no change. Looks like we got that one right so far. We're coming down in this wave C. It looks like we want to break this low in a zigzag correction. So more than likely, this is the first impulse. So it's probably on the verge of waterfall sell-off. Now 2 could still push higher. I'll just mention that, but it doesn't have to. It could have a waterfall sell-off at any moment. CRM, we like the low in on CRM. Let's take a look. As long as our pivot doesn't break, right? Okay, so CRM, we only have 3 up, so that's always a danger sign. If we cannot make a new high, this could be a connector wave for this move down. It could actually take a whole nother swing down, and it's going to unravel fast. So I don't know yet. It's stuck. So I'm showing you the bullish case, but given where we are in the market, don't be surprised that it's not still corrective in 2. Okay? Don't be surprised. So that's why you can't be putting your whole stack on these long positions, because you just don't know if the market's going to double correct or not. And if it does, it's going to do this. I'll give you the entry just in case that happens. There is an entry that we can take for trades at 159, 134. As you can see, that would be a catastrophic meltdown. But again, I won't predict that's going to happen until we break more of the pivots, which is not. This is in the 50-50 area. The bullish interpretation is it's in a 1-2, 1-2, and then but the market's got to figure out what it wants to do: dump or rip. It's literally stuck. It's stuck. The market participants have no clue what to do right now. They don't know. So it's a stalemate. It's like a stalemate. All right. Go to the next super chat. Kiko, appreciate that. The super chat. Affirm. I warned about Affirm going lower. How did it do today? How did Affirm do today? Affirm. Lower. Good. Looking for the buy at 25.37, 24. Now there's two possible entries in a firm because it's hard to find where's the connector. Is the connector the whole move here? If that's the case, the buy's at 16. If it isn't, it's a shallow, then the buy's here. So we'll want to see divergence erase. So if we enter like 23.74 and we have not erased that divergence on the 4-hour or the daily, then it's going to the lower target down here. But like I said, it looked like it's breaking down just like I expected it to, and I think it's just going to continue lower. TSMC, I believe we called the grand supercycle peak in TSMC already, and I think that's what's been playing out if I remember it right, or maybe I'm thinking of something else. Let me go in TSMC, yeah, Taiwan Semi. Huh, we don't have that charted. Interesting. Do I have the right, is that the right symbol or is it TSM? Let me go back and look. Let me see if I can find this thing. Taiwan Semi. Okay, there it is, Taiwan Semi. And as you can see, we're 5 up from the October 22 low, 57. Plenty of white space to correct. Now, is it the end, like go to 0? No, it's going to correct. But if it corrects, it's going to go between the 4 and the 2, which would bring it to 114. So, and it's going to take months. So that's how I look at it. I was hopeful that this wave 5 would extend, but I think it's clear the wave 5s are over in the semi industry. You know, not all the semis are finishing up 5 like Nvidia and those others one, but some of them are, and this one is one of them. So I would just expect some bearish price action, you know, to continue for a while. Now, there's always a chance of a crash correction. It just crash corrects, and if it does, we'll want to buy it here. Again, that would be market meltdown. That would be a market meltdown mode. And again, people are scared because they said, oh, Trump won't defend Taiwan and all this. He sold them out and all this shit. And that's why people are scared. They're trading on things that haven't even happened. And I was thinking, it's probably in Trump's best interest to try to crash the markets now so that when he comes in, he could be the savior of the markets and not blamed for the crash, right? Think about it. He can come in and clean up the mess versus making the mess. So I bet he's going to talk and be talk tough and talk in a way that is going to scare the shit out of people. And I think they are, like the populist talk from Vance, and I think all that will continue. I'm going to tariff, you know, the hell out of China, and you know, screw Taiwan. You know, if they can pay for their defense. I think you're going to hear a lot more talk like that. To say, you know, he better not raise rates, or else I'm going to fire his ass. You know, and so like I'm paraphrasing what he said. He didn't say that like that, but I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised that Trump is just going to keep talking the market down. And he would probably love for it to crash before the election. And then Biden's blamed for the mess. The Democrats are blamed, and then he gets elected. And then he has basically House's money to clean up the mess. And then he can work from a low base. It makes perfect sense. So I think if you're hoping for him to like tone it down like that, like I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to frighten more and more people, but it's just talk. It's just tough talk. None of this has actually happened. And he's got to win the election first. So, but I think market is scared. They're scared of that talk. All right, let's go to Walmart. Let's go to Walmart. Walmart should be finishing up this wave 3. It may already be finished. This could be a really tight wave 4 here. I should probably put the wave 4 right there, and put this 5 here again, given where the market is. So we're probably due for a pretty nice pullback, healthy pullback like we had here. But then we should find one more high before we correct the whole thing for a much bigger sell-off. I don't think we could get a flat out of this. It's too big. So no flat. It should just be a nice, Healthy wave 4, typically you go to the 618, which will get you to 63.61. So that's a still pretty healthy sell-off that could be coming. Just get ready for that. The equivalent of this, like you saw here. Okay. Thanks for the super chat. Crazy, holy shit! Thanks for the big super chat, man. You made my day. I'm so glad you were able to join. This is typically not a time I do these live streams, but I did have a free moment and I wanted to do it. Do the live stream, and next week will be hard for me to live stream in the week. I got a lot of travel I'm doing. I'm not in my normal setup, so but I also watch my Twitter for updates. So get as many live streams in as you can, but it'll be tough next week until I'm back in town on Friday. But Friday I should be back. But I may be able to get a live stream in. But thanks again, and if you have a question, just throw it in the super chat. All right, let's go back to the top here, see what you guys got. Let's see here. I'm not sure, George T, what you want there. I'll let you clarify that in the comments. I'm curious on the usual GME. So I gave an update on GME. So GME, guys, is there's always a bear and bull case interpretation with Elliott waves, which is why people hate Elliott waves, right? That's why we use other things besides Elliott waves to try to help guide us in what to do. But from an Elliott wave standpoint, GME is in an area that could be supported and should bounce. But am I, can I move the markets? I'm not the market maker. I'm not a market maker. I can't make it bounce. So it is here. It's between the 4 and the 2. We filled the gap. We did everything we needed to do. So it's ready to go. It's ready to go. But what if it doesn't do that? So what does this become? Well, it becomes a flat then. An A, B, C. This was a connector. This was your 3 swing down. So you have W, X, and we'll get Y. And we'll have to have a new target, right? And the new target would be at 2042 to 18. People will hate that, but that's just the way the market goes. So you have to manage your risk and understand where we are. But I think you have to respect that. So I do think it's probably wise to stop out at 22.18. I think it would be not too smart to hold the position and hope. But can it go lower? It can go lower in the wave 2. It can certainly go lower. But if this breaks, the setup's lost and we're in a bear mode. And in fact, we could be starting to want to short GME, but I will never short GME. I would never do that. But some people may want to try that at that point. But I think it will. I think it will find support down in this area here at 1920, and you could try to get back in there. Okay. Looks like I got a couple super chats coming in. Obama, nice to see you again. VTSAX potential stop price. Yeah, let's take a look at that real quick. Again, thanks for those big super chats, guys. I really appreciate it. I am not. It's not coming up for me, that symbol. So can you take a look at that and see if it's typo or something. And then say also update on rates. I'm a long-term investor, but don't have 10 to 20 years recover. Well, my interest rate forecast has got, it's very unconventional, but it's actually been playing out. So, so far we're on a roll. Everything's happening, right? So big picture, again, we'll go to the, let's go to the 10-year. That's always real popular, guys. Again, we've had this big impulse up in rates. We have an AB. We need a flat correction. That would get us somewhere down to between 3%, 2.7. So the idea is if rates fall, is it the rates fall because it's easing of financial conditions and the market surge, or the rates fall because people are so scared and the market is crashing that they pile into bonds? I can't tell you which is going to be. I think it's easing of financial conditions and the markets will go higher. But I do think right now, if you look, every time we got to the short area, boom, 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 But we have not had that big moment yet, that big, like, okay, now it's clear we're in a wave 3. So it's still not 100%. We're still not 100%. Now I could also try to label this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this whole thing is 1, and this 2 goes all the way back up to 4, 5, 7, and then we reject. So that would be another option. So the rate is kind of like, it's a tough situation to be in. But if we break 4, 7, 5, 7, or we break 5, then we started a new bull in rates, and that will bring us up to 8% or 9%. And that should, I would think that should obliterate technology, right? That should just obliterate tech and growth and the Russell. So you almost need that to happen to crash the technology trade. So we have to watch this invalidation level. So there is an invalidation level here, but right now the rates don't support it. But as you can see, as we get this wave 2, and this could be a higher degree, and this could be too bearish in rates. Maybe it is something like this, something like that, which could explain the big tech sell-off we're seeing. And then we get 3 later. So it's kind of like, I just can't, we just don't know for sure yet where we are in the cycle, but I do believe it's still lower. Now I'll go back to your super chat. Vanguard fund, total stock market fund. Okay, I'll see if I can find that. All right. Van. Oh, did I go by it? Here, what is it? VT. All right. See if I can find this. Yeah, I just don't know why won't come up for me. Vanguard. Oh, there it is. Got it. All right, we found it. Okay, so we got this. Let's take a look. It's probably going to be like the grand super cycle, right? But let's look at the total stock market fund. Okay, so right away you look at it, you got, oh man, all this bearish divergence. That's typical of a wave 5 peak. Here's your peak in wave 3. So I mean, just like the indices, it looks like it's finishing up 5 waves, right? And here's your first 1, 2, right here, the 2009 financial crisis, right? The first low, and then we come up in some kind of wave 4 here, and now we're in some 5. Now, you see how this pivot is lower than that pivot, so you wouldn't put the 5 there. You would say you were just still in some extended 5th wave, right? It's an extended 5th wave. That's how I would label it. That's how I would label the entire stock market. And this is why I don't think all the swings are in place yet to call a top in the actual market. So something like that. Now, could this wave 3 be done? We don't have evidence that it is, but I can't say it isn't. I mean, it's possible, right? I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You got bearish divergence, but you don't have I just don't see that yet. But you know what? I think because we just haven't broke down hard enough on the weekly time frame. So this is what I'd be looking for. If the weekly time frame breaks this line, then this 3 has to be in. Even though technically there's your line for the 2, but more than likely if that line breaks, this is going to come all the way down and break it. So I think we don't know if 3's in or yet or not, but if you want to be super conservative, you just label that just like that and know at some point this is coming, and then you got a big pullback, probably all the way back down to this cluster for one more high, and then you're done. Now the question is, always when you have 3 up in a pattern like this, is it a flat? Is it a flat, right? And was this 5 and this is an A, B, C? But the reason I don't think that's the case is this was pushed up too high. It just pushed up too high for a typical flat pattern. Let's see. You know, it didn't. I guess you can't rule it out looking at this. Remember, we do have, you know, this unusual bottom that really confused us. I mean, that would be horrific for the market. Like, we thought the flat was bad here in the financial crisis. I mean, if this is a flat, let's just do some bear porn, guys. Some bear porn. If this is a flat here on the total market fund, I mean, it's this will go down. This will be like incredibly horrific. And yes, it would probably come all the way back down to this area here and test this 4. There's no way to know that unless the monthly cycle breaks convincingly. And it really hasn't. You see, you got a lot of room. So you're going to have to, like, you won't know for a while if that's going to happen or not. You won't know for a while. That's a terrible candle, by the way, if the month closed like that. Quarterly, even the quarterly, there's plenty of room. You see, if you're going to get that kind of crash, the quarterly will even break down. So there's no way you want to call that. That's just bear porn. That's for bears. That's a bear's dream right there. But I would just say that the most likely path is this and that, and then you have to really think hard about what you want to do with your as a long-term investor, because then you could get something like that. Okay, and then yeah, if all that gets gone, I don't know how long that will take to come back. But typically you don't V-bottom. That's rare. And do you really think they're going to money print again and all that shit? I think those days are over with. TARP, you know, the Inflation Reduction Acts, you know, COVID relief, all that shit and money printing probably over when this happens. So it's probably going to have to grow naturally out of the base. But with Trump in office, who knows how he'll handle that. If it happens before he takes office or right on the start of his administration or even in the middle. Again, he's got to win though. So yeah, I think this is how I would label it. This is actually a really interesting ETF because it's like a clearer picture in my mind. It's like a clearer picture to me. You know, to make the case for the flat even more bear porn, this looks like almost 3 waves. This almost doesn't even look like a 5-wave move, right? It almost doesn't look like a 5-wave move. Maybe I could label this as an end in diagonal. If I labeled this as an end in diagonal, I put 3 there, and then you have 3 there, and that would do something more like this, where you have like an ABC, an ABC. ABC, big decline, and then no, that wouldn't even work because it's a wave 3. I take that back. You can't have that. So that won't work. So yeah, just trying to figure out, you know, this leg, this looks like we don't want this to be the shortest leg because you're like, okay, so where's the wave 3? And let's take a look here and see if that's the shortest leg or not. And it's a little bit shorter, so we really should not label. So maybe this is like a 1, 2. I think that's how we'll label it. Like I think I have my other graphs. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting chart because when I look at this wave, I put the 1, 2 there because we correct the whole cycle here. But this is really ugly for an impulse up. But you know, I would just say that probably the best way to label that first leg here, looking at it, is like I think I have this on my other 1, 2. Yeah, this is interesting. So you have to call this like a 3. There's only one possibility. I think I look at the RSI and we're just gonna, you would have to force a wave 4 label here. You would have to force your 4 right here. You'd have to label it something like this. It's the only way to make sense of what this mess is. And I guess you could force it. You could force the count here. It's just kind of ugly. It's very ugly off the bottom. But using the RSI system, I think it's clear this is 1 cycle, 2 cycle there, and then it's done. And then we pull back in 4, and then we have 5. Okay, something like that. All right, appreciate that super chat. Swanson, QCOM. Let's look at QCOM. Qualcomm. Looks like we had this got buy here, and I'm not sure what this was about here. I don't know what I was just showing the gap, so it's interesting. So it looks like it truncated obviously here. Yeah, I think you could label that too here. And now we're in another impulse off the low that looks like it just finished. You have overlap in waves, so it's probably another 1, 2. So it could go all the way back down to 142. So it should find support and continue higher. So I'll show the buy opportunity here at 174, 155 in this area, right around this wave 4 area. So it's possible it could find a bounce here. It could bounce and fail, or it may find a wave 2. Donald, Tesla. So Tesla has, again, two interpretations, and I need to make sure people are aware of the bearish case, and then you'll have to decide what you want to do with Tesla. Now, I still think Tesla's still, bulls are in control of it, having the breakout. This wave 4, I would still look at this as a 1, 2, and we come up to 288 and come all the way back down to 218 and then come out, most likely path. Now we could also be in a 4, like an A, B, C, and we drop to 227 and come out to 284 and then back down to 210 and out. But the real bear porn case in Tesla, and again, given the market conditions that we're seeing develop, this is only 3 waves. You have 3 waves. This could be just a connector for a bigger swing, and we could still be in 2, and we could actually come back and break this low at 137 and retest this low at 98, or even break it. So we need to make this 5th wave to confirm the bottom. Until then, it is still just a 3-wave move. I think the danger of the trade unraveling is if we really sit below the downtrend line too long, and then I think it will unravel as a false breakout. But for right now, I think the market is kind of confused on what to do with Tesla. But it seems like it wants to make another swing down, and then we'll see if we can get this 5th wave or not. But there's no guarantee of that. It just isn't, like the rest of the market is weak. Everything's so weak right now. Okay, just kind of flip through the questions real quick and see what you guys have. German index, I'll look at that. We haven't looked at that in a long time. The DAX. Let's take a look at where we are with the DAX. Looks like I got one more swing up in wave 5 that needs to finish. Could I be off by a swing? Look, I'll be correcting the whole thing. So that would be a big nasty sell-off. Now, we could still be in this wave 4. It could actually go deeper. I would be careful that that's not where we're in. So I think that's probably more likely. We're still in wave 4, and this was a connector. And we'll make another low that goes a little bit lower, back down to this 17,872 level for an opportunity to buy wave 4 here. Okay, so just something to keep an eye on. But then once we get 5, then it should be pretty big selling. Now, the key is if we don't get this wave 4 to finish here, then this could also be a 1-2. It could go deeper, like a 1-2, 1-2. Again, we only have 3, so we'll check out the flat just to make sure we don't have a potential flat scenario, and I don't see that. So I do think it's going to be supported. I think this is the most likely path, and then a big nasty pullback will occur, something like that. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's take a look at what we got here. I don't have completed impulses on all those indices, Qs by IWM, but the triple Qs is the one I'm closest to completing. And I can force it, easily force that to end. And at the right Fibonacci level. So there is a lot of red alert on the technology trade, but I just don't see it collapsing without the dynamic that allowed it to correct before with interest rates rising. So I would be looking for higher rate environment, like to kind of take over again. But maybe it doesn't have to do that. Maybe it could just be pure risk off, panic in the bonds, just a classic risk off trade, money out of stocks, money floods in the bonds. So just I don't know how it will play out exactly, but technology is the one that is close. The others I just can't, for the life of me, get enough. I think you really need another swing higher, but I mean, can't be wrong. So you just got to be cautious out there, especially if technology wants to break down. Yeah, let's look at Crowdstrike. I think I showed Crowdstrike in my market video, guys. Crowdstrike, it found support here. Again, this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So typically news like this isn't, we've had Chipotle with E. coli scares and all sorts of shit, and all these stocks recover. So this could have been just a really good buying opportunity here in this wave 2. So I still think this could be the setup. The only other possibility, again, is it would have to be a massive flat where this is an A, B, and then C, and we just come all the way back down to retest these lows. I don't think that's going to happen, but the first thing that needs to happen is we need to break 280, and we weren't able to do that, even with all the horrific news that happened today with CrowdStrike. So buyers stepped in today to save it. Okay, it looks like I've got some more super chats. Let's see here, HES. I'll take a look at that. HES is Hess Corporation. I'm bearish on oil, guys. Oil is starting to break down finally. Today was a big move down in oil. Not big, but it was a good, healthy move. Okay, so we're gonna have to go to we have to go to a monthly time frame. Here's your 3. There's your 3. So it's probably some kind of grand super cycle top here of some kind. Let's see. Although this corrected the whole move, we may have to go to like the quarterly time frame. Yeah, it's it looks like to me it's you see how this low is below that low. It looks like to me you've got some kind of 1, 2, 1, 2 here, because this is too deep and too complicated. But the way I would label this is some kind of 1, 2. 1, 2, and now we're in wave 3 land. There's your wave 5. This looks like an ended diagonal, and we reset. So it looks like to me it's going to correct another wave 1 off this low. 1, 2. Yeah, we have to, let's try to find where the real peak is. We'll try to label it a little bit better. Yeah, it's probably like this. So you have to be careful with the labeling. So this could be like a triangle wave 4. It could be a lot of things, but I think it's something like this, potentially. Now, I could be off by a swing easily. So this is a tough one. This is a tough one because it's easy to be off a swing here, and it's already peaked. It could have one more high. So if it's already peaked, then it's destined for a big drop down to 89. If it hasn't, then the 4 could be here. It could drop a little lower to 122, make another high. So it's a real tough chart based on where it is right now. I personally wouldn't trade it. Looks like it's a triangle wave 4 of some kind. But good luck with that. B8 bats. Let's look at bats. So like some kind of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Interesting. It's like an extended fifth of some kind. Let's just try to label this. And then it went into a bear market. Has to be an extended fifth. And then it dropped. So yeah, it's going to, remember, we lose the whole 5. So that's what it's about to do. It's probably coming back to this 1378, and you have a connector. You broke the low. So yeah, it's going to go lower. It should go lower. It's going to be hard to target the actual low, because this is kind of too bearish, right? This gets you down way low, right? This would be like almost bankruptcy, like status. I'll leave it there just for now. I don't think it'll go down that far. I think you're just going to have to let the divergence erase on the monthly, and then you're going to have to stick your neck out and buy it in an ABC correction, is what it looks like to me. If you're lucky, it could be still in a connector. You get B up, which would bring your target higher, which is probably more likely. So what I think we should call that. So I think we're going to call a connector that's going to do something like this, and then that will help bring your target up to a more expected level. So I think it's about to have a pump like that, and then a rug pull later. BAE Systems. I assume this is what the one you're thinking about. So BAE Systems. Again, I don't know what that is. I'm going to ignore that as an actual price action. I'm just going to say that's not legitimate price action. Oh, listed on the LSE. Let me just double check it. Let me go back. I assume this is it. Okay. A similar chart. Looks like we came out here. So more than likely this wave 3 is finished, and we're going to correct that. Yeah, barely have bearish divergence here, so it's tough to say, but more than likely that 3's in, and you're going to do a series of 4s and 5s on that. And then 7751. That's good capitulation. So that's a major low. So it's building off of that low. So you got to be careful that the cycle hasn't ended. That's too short, so that can't be the shortest wave. Something like this, maybe. And then a big pullback. And then boom, out. Again, it's the most likely path. It could still be very bullish. It could be 1 2 1 2, and it could just boom, boom. So it's a real tough call on how to treat, because you don't have the RSI break yet on the weekly cycle there, you see, but it looks like it wants to reset the weekly, but it hasn't confirmed it yet. So you're just going to have to kind of, stick your neck out there and see what you want to do with that. All right, let's keep going. Enphase from X Enphase. I think they had some lady on TV today, like bashing Enphase. I was like, oh, I bet the company loves that. That's a typical bear market sentiment, by the way. So we had the cycle finished here in a nice 3-wave move, and we broke it. So this is either a connector, which essentially would bring this to bankruptcy. So this is a go to zero. It has to hold 74. There's just no more room left to go. As you can see, the massive top. So you have to like back into the low. You have to just pray that that the company is going to be okay. But this could be so many things. So as long as you're above 72, I would expect more upside. But if you break 72, it could be waterfall panic selling. So the one thing I don't like is the sector. I'm bearish on the sector of solar and energy. Solar TAN 22. So I would be careful being in this. And if the FUD is that bad where people are going on TV saying it's the worst product they've ever used or something, I mean who's going to buy that shit when people are saying that on TV to mom and pop people, So just be careful, hoping for this wave 3. Mark V, appreciate the big super chat like always. Axon, let's go to Axon. Axon Enterprises. Looks like a very bullish chart. Looks like some kind of 1-2, 1-2 in the grand super cycle. It hasn't seen the wave 3 yet, so it's very bullish. So I'm just going to label it the obvious count, but this could easily be another 1-2 and extend. But I think you got to be careful that it doesn't correct this impulse before you get the real big price movement. So it could be this, pull back out, or like I said, it could be another 1-2. Tough to say. I think you're just gonna. I think, but either way, it's very bullish. I would. If you get another swing lower, then you could look to buy that. But I'll just leave it labeled like that for now. SMPL. The Simply Good Foods Company. Yeah, this one's weird because the RSI on the higher time frame almost looks like just 3 waves up. I'm going to label it more bullish because it just got a lot of good separation here. So this looks like 3. It's possible this was a flat and it finished right here. It's really tough. I think if this low breaks, then it's 5 up, and then this 3 and 4, 5 is here, and then it will come back down to 26. But I think you got to put the low there, and if you put the low there, then you're looking for a pullback, and then boom, out. So that's how I would look at it, just looking at this structure. But if we break these lows, then you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and like A, B, C, and then out. It's just not clear to me where, it's just that the chart just has got a couple possibilities. Gmed. Oh, we got that one right. Hopefully you made a lot of money on that. We got the buy area and we went vertical in wave 3, and there's no reason to think it won't continue. Now, will it go pull back? There's always pullbacks. So, I mean, this looks like to me like it's just going to continue higher. Yeah. So, congratulations if you got that. All right, cool. That's what I got. Thanks again. I'll just kind of scan through comments one last time. I think Amazon is in my weekly video I posted on YouTube. You can watch that. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. Yeah, spread the word. I need more subscribers. I'm just trying to help people out. We don't get them right all the time, but most of the time we do. And boy, when we do, it can really pay off, just like we see here. We got the TSLL right. We essentially doubled our money in 2-3 days. And yeah, if it breaks down, who gives a shit? We already made our money. We got profit on it. So that's how we play here. Sometimes we get it right. Sometimes we get it wrong, but a lot of times we get it right. and we trade smart on our channel. Intel is still going higher. I'll check it because a lot of people are into it right now. I think lower interest rates helps these dividend paying stocks. They're also like defensive in some ways. But let's look. Oh, a big nasty sell-off. Looks like 5 up. Okay. Looks like 5 up still. Right? This is where it would find support. So, you know, it's doing its thing. It's doing its thing. Shaking out the weak hands. Now, it's got to hold 29.72. If it doesn't, then Intel's in a lot of trouble because then it's probably going to break this low at 24, and then we have to target a $15, $12 coming. So that's how I trade it. But again, it looks like 5 up to me. You know, but like I always say, it can be wrong. Do what's best for you. Twitter is Elliot Wave Sage. One word. MNMD. Let's look at that for you here. So we'll just call it the low from here. It looks like a 3-wave move though off the bottom. So that's always dangerous that it may have already corrected. This is a 3-wave move. So I think you have to label that corrective. And then you have to just assume it's starting to grind lower from here on out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let's take that back. This looks like another corrective move. So I think you're lucky. I think it's in a 3-swing sequence. So I think it's in a 3-swing sequence. So here's the thing. There's no guarantee it's just going to do this right now. We could still be in X. So I'll show you the buy area. If in the way I would trade, I would not even entertain buying it here. But if it did want to take a dump to 326, I'd play that long and try to play this Y wave and buy that here. But you know, and because it's X, it can break these lows. It's okay. So I would just say that, or you could buy it here and put your stop loss at 660 and hope you got this, and this could be it. And then it could be a 1-2, 1-2 and out, and you get Y. So I think it's kind of a coin flip, which one. So I think, you know, you're just gonna have to make a decision on how you want to trade that. Ampman, the Qs and SPY peaked. There are many, maybe a double top over the next couple months, but the highs in for the market of the year. Yeah, you know, so the way I trade my channel is I never try to top tick the market. I always let the market tell me when it's time to get out and look at indicators. I think if that VIX breaks out like you say next week, I think that is that leads more evidence that the correction could take quite a while, and it could be a pretty big drop, as well as if we break the monthly RSI trend line on the NASDAQ, triple Qs. If that breaks, then I think the NASDAQ has potentially topped and maybe even topped in the grand super cycle. The other indices don't show that type of bearishness yet, so more price action has to play out before that's the case. But I mean, tech has brought up this bull market, and if tech has a meltdown, it's hard for me to think, can the market rotate into other stocks to keep the other indices alive for just a little bit more? I mean, maybe it can happen, but just it's so, yeah, I don't call the peaks in for the year or anything like that, but I do I would, you know, it's time to like pay attention more to the bear case. But there is a bigger sell-off and a higher degree happening right now We called the daily sell-off on our channel, but we could even be in the weekly cycle sell-off now. If it's the weekly cycle sell-off, we probably sell off into the election. If it's the weekly cycle, guys, which is months. Now, I don't know if that's the end of the year, but I would say that the weekly cycle retrace could be could be that, but then that should take the Nasdaq out, right? So there's a lot of mixed messages, but we do know we're on borrowed time with the indices, right? We do know that technically speaking, there is no like super pump. There's no reason to believe that that can happen. There's no reason to believe the Moon Boy scenario. I can't get my mind around Moon Boy, even though technically, yes, the market can extend the race divergences, all those bearish divergences, but today's price action in the last week after a breakout on the Dow is very bearish to have that slam back down like that. But we'll see. Oh, that's cool, Jay. Yeah, that would be a massive super chat, man. I'll look at MUX. Did I look at that already? MUX. Oh, did I get another super chat? No. Okay, just making sure here. MUX. Did I do MUX already? I don't even remember. Let's see here. So MUX, we called this the short here. We got that, and then it double corrected higher, which usually it always happens lower. But I still would be bearish on this. But let's take a look and see if that's the 2 or not. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think it just so it just double corrected. I'm still looking for more downside, like I have it here. We need to negate this. You got to take this high out here. So it's just a double correction. It's just a bigger correction and a bigger decline. In fact, this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Let me see if that's the case. Or see, we have 3 waves. So maybe let's take a bigger look at this. Maybe it's 2, but we're probably doing that. That's probably what we're doing. We're probably doing a flat. So because we don't have divergence there, so something like that. So it's tricky structure, but it does look like you don't have any. If you had that divergence here, you could call this maybe finished in C, but without that, I wouldn't be messing with this one. There's probably other miners to mess around with. The markets are due for a dead cat bounce. The VIX is showing bearish divergence. Everything is set up for that. I mean, it sure is. I think though, if that VIX breaks out of that wedge, it will do it on Monday, and you'll have a meltdown on Monday, like not like a Black Monday, like 29, but you'll have like a capitulation day on Monday, where the market just opens, and we haven't seen like a sell-off like that in years. But I think we'll know. I mean, we'll know. We'll watch how the futures open, how Europe opens. I mean, it's really interesting if that wedge is going to break out or not. I don't know if there's any key earnings release Monday morning or not, or news drop, but the market is absolutely due a relief rally. It is way overdue for that right now. Yeah, but nobody knows, right? Nobody knows for sure. That's why we don't make the market. Elliot Wave Sage is not a market maker. I am not Aladdin. I can't control the market at my will. I'm not a fortune teller. If I could do that, I would be billions of dollars, and I wouldn't be doing this. So we just play probabilities and chances and manage risk. And most of the time you get most of it right, and at the end of the year you have more money than you started with, and that's how it's been for me, and I've been doing this for a long time. So just finishing up the comments. Does a wave 5 usually have to complete for the run to be over? Looking at Palantir still. Yeah, I mean, usually the run ends when there's a fifth wave with bearish divergence at the peak at the higher time frames. If you start seeing that, it's almost like you're on borrowed time. But the problem is, I never like the top tick unless there's a reason to do that, because the market could always extend in wave five, and then it becomes the wave three grows bigger. So it's so you really that's why you have to really wait for that bearish confirmation of reversal, and then you can get out. Because if not, you can miss the wave three extensions, and that's what's happened to a lot of the bears since really January. And if you're new to following me, a lot of the bears, that were calling, these peaks, they were trying to top tick bearish divergences that were playing out ever since here, like, oh, there it is, no, there it is, there. Because what happened, just kept extending, just kept extending, because I was waiting for the market to stop, let the market tell me it's time. Now, when the market tells me it's time by breaking 540, well then, yeah, oh shit, you suck, Elliot Wave Sage, you missed all this. Yeah, but look, dude, I made all this. So yeah, I didn't get out at the top, but I didn't miss the extensions. And if you miss the extensions, that's where you're missing all the real money. So you can't try to top tick wave fives. You got to let the market kind of stop you out. And even better is, even if you break 540, you wait for a bounce. And then if the bounce fails and breaks that pivot, then you can get out. But again, you're not getting out at the top, because nobody can call the top and just be like the market maker. And it's like, yep, this is it. I'm done. Like we can't do that and have a lot of success. And I have a feeling that the people that are top ticking the market even here are going to find out the market goes to 576. And then they'll be like, oh shit, what did I do? But don't worry, this is coming. Now, what I'm worried about is are we in this wave three right now? Now, if we're in that wave three, we're going into a bear market, into the election, big ass wave four, and then we'll get another little euphoric rally, and then that should do it. And again, I still have more swings, but I could be off by a swing, but I just don't think the market's topped here, but you're never going to call the top. But everyone's got to just decide what you want to do, because I guess if you hang around long enough, like let's just say you go to the sidelines, okay, it's just chopping around, and you're just gonna wait, collect your your money market, short-term treasury rate. You don't have to think about the market and all this pain. And then you can get back in down here later, and come back to the market, and you could maybe try to day trade this chop that's coming, and maybe that's the better strategy. So I just think that you just have to figure out what you want to do. But I think it's hard to top call. Now the Qs is different, because the Qs you're starting to get that monthly. If you get this monthly, guys, this monthly cycle break here, if this comes down, that's usually an indicator it's time to leave the market. And yeah, you didn't get the very peak, but at least you got a lot of the gains, and you can have something to show for it. Because typically when the monthly breaks, let's see here, like we broke it here, right around here on December 21. What happened on December 21 with the NASDAQ? It peaked, right? And then look, it entered a bear market. The same thing's going to happen here when the monthly cycle breaks. It's going to enter a bear market, guys. Whether I want it to be or wish it to be, it's just the way it's going to play out. Okay, so it's the way it goes. So just be ready for that, Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Have a good weekend. I'm going to get off here. Yeah, just, good luck with trading next week. Like I said, it'd be hard, if not impossible, to do live stream next week for me. But I will post to my Twitter as I see the market play out. But I think you do got to watch. I think, to me, the VIX is the key of what will happen on next week. The way we closed on the VIX scares me a little. I would have liked to close with a different candle, but we are over bought. On the shorter time frames, we are showing bearish divergences, but as I've always said, they can be erased. I would be careful if we do get a breakout of this wedge. the selling could get a little bit out of hand, like we saw in Volmageddon. Right? If you traded Volmageddon, you know what to expect. It'll be kind of cool. You have people yelling at each other on TV again, screaming and yelling about God knows what. But it will probably be another dip to buy. I don't think it will be the great crash of our lifetime, but God knows, who knows. But I think this is a very important wedge that the VIX needs to stay in this wedge to keep the market in control. Aladdin has to control this VIX to keep them, but eventually we get to an apex, and eventually the shit's gonna end. All right, that's all I got, guys. I'll see you later. Oh, looks like I did get one more super chat here. Well, sorry, or did I do Mobil Eye? Let me just double check. I forgot if I did that. Sometimes I miss these super chats. I don't remember if I did it or not. Okay, yeah, I didn't do it. All right, let's go back to it. So it looks like here you got stopped out, right? Because this is where you would have wanted it to bounce. And we did get a little bit of a bounce and then stopped out. So I would say it's in a situation where it's going to correct lower now in this deeper wave 2, but you don't have a lot of room to go. So what you need to expect is the divergence to be erased and hold that low. It doesn't look likely, right? It looks like you're in a bigger cycle lower. It looks like it's taken a more bearish turn. And so what that means is this was a connector wave. So we're still in this wave 2. And it looks like you have 3 down. And, you know, I'll call this a connector, the connector for it. So we'll be looking for another swing lower to erase divergence back down to 2134 and 1763. And that's probably where it's heading. It's going to double correct in this wave 2. It just looks like that's what it wants to do. The structure of the wave is very complicated. It looks like it's moving in 3 waves. And look how long that leg took. This is very short. So you gotta be careful if you're trading it. But it does look like, and then more than likely this will have to take this peak out. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes even lower now. So I'd say it's dangerous to trade it here. But if you really want to be certain, you put your stop at 2344. And if I'm wrong about this this pattern, but it doesn't look good anymore. It looks like you would have been stopped out. If I was trading this long, I wouldn't be in this anymore on the long position. Okay, sorry, I almost missed that super chat. Elliot, favorite Elliot Wave book or source? I like Elliot Wave Forecast, that website. I like Prechter's book, of course. There's a lot of people on the internet that do this that I follow, and you know, there's a lot of people that I like out there. And I'm just one more. Sometimes I miss comments. All right, guys, that's all I got.